Guys, welcome back to T-Rod Whiskey. You know, since whiskey's inception, people have been trying to find ways to make their whiskey taste better, to stretch a few more dollars out of it. Going back to whiskey's inception, at least in America, you had the rectifiers. You know, maybe you add some turpentine, battery acid, tobacco spit, whatever you could just to change the color, change the flavor a little bit. Now, fast forward, you've got rapid aging technologies. I've seen that contraption where you force the whiskey through the little wooden discs and it makes it interact. Now, we have aging staves. Does any of it really work? Let's find out. So, today we're looking at a bottle of Oak and Eden. And Oak and Eden is a little bit of a unique product on the shelves. You've probably seen it before. I know they have a very, very wide net for distribution. But what makes them special, what makes them unique, is that they all have, I don't know if you guys can see it in there, these little wood spirals in the bottle. And what their claim is that once they bottle that whiskey, the whiskey inside this bottle continues to interact with that wood, continuing to age it while it's in the bottle. So theoretically speaking, if you were to buy one of these, still sealed, throw it on the shelf in your basement for 10 years, you could have a 12, 13, however old this whiskey is, you could add 10 years to it. I don't think that's exactly how that works, but there might be something to it, right? I am the first person to say that innovation drives the whiskey industry, that something new and interesting is going to trump something that is super highly touted. I want something new, even if it's not necessarily as good as it probably could be. Now, Oak and Eden doesn't distill their own whiskey. I'm fairly certain it is sourced by MGP because it says right here on the back of the label that it is distilled in Indiana and then it is bottled in Louisville, Kentucky. No, not Louisville, Louisville, Kentucky. Best estimates, what I could find online, is the whiskey inside of here is generally about 3 years old. And then they place an aging spiral in this. So this one specifically was a store pick from a place called BB's Liquor in Shelby Township, Michigan. If you guys are ever in Macomb County, Michigan, please stop by BB's. They've got a great selection. Frankie's a super, super top-notch guy. Took care of me on this bottle, has taken care of me on bottles in the past. Cigars, they've got everything. Now, this one, what makes it unique is most of their shelf offerings do not have an Amburana spiral in it. That's exactly what this one has. It's bottled at 112 proof, so it's going to be a little bit hotter than maybe that RD1 green label that everybody seems to kind of be after. I did try this at the store. Didn't really get too deep into it. I just had, just a little nipper of it, but it looks like it's not half bad at first glance. Now, a 3-year-old whiskey with an aging spiral, I'm still considering this to be a 3-year-old whiskey. Okay, I'm not expecting life-altering anything out of this, but it's at the very least unique. Most of what you see on the shelf might have a honey-soaked spiral or a toasted oak spiral. I've never seen an Amburana oak spiral. And I know what you're saying, it's a gimmick. Okay, yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it is a gimmick. Okay, and I know that Amburana wood is the new hotness right now. Everybody's kind of doing something with it. You got RD1 that has their green label. It's on the shelf everywhere. Grand Traverse Distilling, they had a special release. The Bourbon Junkies, their Evernorth Spirits Spirit Walker Batch 2 was finished with honey and Amburana barrels, and it's really, really good. This is actually a Burreye, but regardless, it's really good. Amburana wood is very sweet and requires a relatively small amount of the wood with a relatively small amount of time to make an impact on the flavor. So this is a 4-grain, 112 proof, medium fire, no infusion, Amburana wood. Let's go ahead and get into her. Still a good cork pop on it. This is not the first time this bottle's been open, but just going to go ahead and check it out. I'm not going to do a comparison because I think that would be a little bit unfair, but I got it in the glass. Swirl it around a little bit here. It's got like a nice dark gold color to it, like a dirty gold almost. It's really got a pretty color to it. Doesn't look to be super duper viscous. It's probably a reflection on the age. So right off the nose, you're you're getting that cinnamon, okay? Getting that brown sugar and cinnamon. There's a fruit note in there. I want to say this is like a ripe red apple with cinnamon sprinkled on it is kind of what is jumping out at me. A little bit of that proof coming through, maybe a little bit of the youth showing through. But really a lovely nose. It's not bad at all. Whew. It comes across a little bit hot. This is my first drink of whiskey of the day, so that's to be expected. That cinnamon, like that brown sugar cinnamon oatmeal kind of taste. Like if you ever had Quaker oatmeal, brown sugar cinnamon, that's what's coming across on the front of the palate, but more towards the mid palate. Hang on. Okay, stay with me here. It's a green apple, but like if you dipped the green apple in like a caramel sauce and sprinkled a little bit of cinnamon, or a lot of bit of powdered cinnamon on it, that's kind of what I'm getting. Not a whole lot more than that, but it's good. The finish is really long. That cinnamon spice hangs around. It coats the back of your tongue and the back of your mouth really, really well. So even though in the glass doesn't look super viscous, it does coat really well. Mm-hmm. It's not bad. For a 3-year-old whiskey, you would probably expect something maybe not as good. And again, I'm just speculating to the age here. I don't know how old it is. It could be 4 or 5 years. I'm assuming based off of the limited amount of online research I've done, this is a 3-year MGP whiskey that they throw an aging stave in, bottle it, and ship it out. Now, this single barrel is very unique, so it could be even older than that. It does have an Amburana spiral in there. Amburana really, really influences the whiskey, so that could be covering up some of the imperfections. Yeah, let's call it imperfections in the whiskey. It is definitely a little bit youthy. There's a slight grain note there that is just kind of dancing around the edge. It's not insane. One more. Yeah, there's a little bit of a funk there. I'm getting it on the sides of the palate, and it's there and gone briefly. It doesn't ruin the sip entirely, but it's pretty good. I would give this one. I'm gonna rank it on just a sleepy scale or whatever you guys want to call it. Let's go ahead and say 6.5. I think maybe 6.6. It is decent, not great. It's youthy. It's not super expensive, which does help out its cause. Does have kind of a cool label. I like the bottle. I like the glass here in the back. That's kind of a cool little detail. I think it's a good concept. Whether or not it's super effective, I don't think it is. This isn't really impacting the whiskey as much as you might think. I like the idea behind it, but it's not continuing to age the whiskey, in my opinion. I think it's very much a gimmick. If you're looking for something new to try, I know they have cold brew infusions. They have toasted oak infusions, honey oak infusions. You can go on the website and create your perfect bottle, whether it's bourbon or rye, what kind of stave you can put it in, put into it rather, and have it shipped to you. Not here in Michigan because our alcohol laws are kind of trash, but it's okay. Nothing to write home about. Not a bad bottle by any means, but not a life-altering one. If you're looking for an Amburana expression and you can find one of these with Amburana in it, not terrible. Not a terrible idea. This might be a few dollars cheaper than the RD1. I know the Bourbon Junkies one that I referenced before is a limited release and it's gone already. Grand Traverse Amburana finish was a limited release. I believe that one's gone already. I don't know how many other Amburana finishes are out on the shelf. So if you see this and you want to try something with some Amburana wood, give it a go. Definitely what I would consider to be a dessert whiskey. But that said, please guys, make sure that you smash that like button, hit the subscribe, drop a comment down below, and keep your eyes open for more content. I plan on continuing to grow the channel as much as I can. But until next time, cheers.